Hello, Jess Too Good here, and today I'm taking a look at the Monkey King Warrior Mech set. This is a LEGO Monkie Kid 2020 summer set with 1,629 pieces, 6 minifigures, and it retails for $150 in the United States. Everything you see here is included in this set, and let's take a look at those minifigures. We'll start off with the Monkey King, and this is a figure that only comes in this set, but he is a character that was in a CMF series last fall, so he's not the hardest character to get if you like the Wukong design, though this is specific to the Monkey King theme that LEGO is putting out, so this one is exclusive for its particular print. It actually uses all the same pieces as the CMF one, except for a different breastplate right there. The CMF one just uses a different color that is more common to get. And his alternate face looks quite angry. Now this design does come with the Monkey King staff. The CMF one did come with a staff, but not using this new longer lightsaber handle piece as people are calling it in the community. But that is a piece and build that comes in all of the LEGO Monkie Kid sets. And just in case you weren't familiar with the Series 19 figure, here are all the pieces that make up the Monkey King and his staff. As for the Monkey Kid minifigure of this set, this is the same version that also comes in the most expensive Ocean HQ set, and that's about it. For that face print, which has the face paint on it and a pretty cocky look, also he has a phone as an accessory, which is not a new piece by any means, but is a piece that was overused at one point, and I don't see it too often, so it's nice to see it return with that 1x2 print. Love the new headphone accessory and the new hair headband combo. If you don't know how those pieces work, well, this is a dual molded piece. Love how there's like a little strand of hair at the front. And then for the headphones right here, there's actually an extra in this set, and that just goes over the neck. But with the headphones removed, I wanted to show the alternate facial expression, which his look is just a little bit stern. That actually looks a lot like Cole from the first wave of LEGO Ninjago. For the enemies of the set, this is General Ironclad. This is a figure that only comes in this set and the Ocean HQ set, which are the two most expensive of the first wave. This design does have some slightly different designs from the other Bull clones. You can see the cattle horns a little bit different for the coloring. The shoulder pad right here is actually a nice piece to get in that color. Pauldron in that nice purple as well. And the arms are a gunmetal silver, gunmetal gray, I always forget the coloring, but not a purple. So it is slightly different, which is pretty cool. But underneath still has that translucent minifigure head that has no printing to it. Unfortunately, they still use the same torso, which I wish they would have changed that up too, because that would have been just a better addition. You have more purple on the torso, which the only purple part on him is this pauldron. I wish they would have went with a more gunmetal gray. And this new helmet piece is really nice to get, but again, that comes with all of the Bull clones, so it's nothing too special to this one figure. Finally, he has this weapon right here, which I mistakenly called the Technoblade piece. This is actually from LEGO Nexo-Knights. Whoops, but it is exclusive to this theme in that coloring. And then they include Growl, which is a Bull clone. All these have the same designs, as I said, and it's the same as the other figure, where underneath this new helmet piece, which is a very well-made piece, is a translucent minifigure head. This next minifigure is JIA. I'm going to say Gia, but I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This design does use a torso print that's kind of uncommon, but it's been used since like 2010, so it's not anything new. Also, I think he has a pork bun, if I'm not mistaken, but it could be maybe another food that I'm not familiar with. The design of his face is also nothing new as well, which you can see his alternate expression. Just kind of has a confident look. This character's name is AN, so I'm going to say On. I hope I am saying that right. And the design of her has a torso print that is also kind of uncommon, but not super new. And she has a fish as an accessory. Her worried look can be swapped to this kind of a nice look at the back. So there's a total of 5 separate builds of this set, with the cloud, the mountain, the mini mech, and this building with the noodle shop, and then of course the Monkey King mech, which we'll take a look at first. Here is the Monkey King mech. This thing is gigantic. Compare it to the size of a LEGO minifigure, which we'll put the Monkey Kid right here. He only reaches a part of the foot of the mech. This design is filled with gold pieces as well, and not a pearl gold. I mean, there is some pearl gold here and there, but a lot of this metallic gold. And LEGO says this is the set with the most metallic gold elements, I think reaching around 110 to 120 in this set alone. And the mech even looks pretty darn good from the back, where this cloth piece covers up a lot of the imperfection of the underside of the mech build. Before we take a close-up though, You can see the Monkey King mech is already taller than the Demon Bull King, and that's even discounting these horns at the top, which I've been moving around just to fit it all on camera. But it's still a sizable opponent with all the equipment that the Demon Bull King has, and I'll try to have a battle scene after we're done taking a look at the mech. But first, let's take a close-up at that mech. Starting from the top and working our way to the bottom, first we'll take a look at the head, and the head has full rotation with how it's connected, using this hinge part right here, and that's a Technic pin configuration. You get a full rotation, but every time I've rotated it, the front face falls off. Thankfully, it's very easy to put the face back on. You can see how it connects just using some simple bricks to kind of line it all up. Put that face there, and then put the top part right over here. It's easy to reconnect, but I also love how they use these metallic gold elements to really illustrate and make that face stand out. They use the banana piece right here, which is funny because it is a monkey, but it isn't used in that same way, rather with a very headdress-like look. They use some of these corner tile pieces in that gold, as well as this Nexonite shield at the top in that nice gold. For these parts, which I call the horns, they're not technically horns, I think the design of them works pretty well, but you could kind of position them as you'd like. Earlier on in the video, I was putting them to the side, but really they're supposed to be straight up like this for accuracy. Either way, the design of this does use miniature ball joints, not only at the top with the start of those horns, but also at the connection with how it connects to the actual head. So you can get some movement there and position that as you'd like. Other than that, at the back, there's also some parts used for the underside to kind of complete it with one of these underside 1x2s that are curved in that metallic gold, and some cheese slopes in that metallic gold. A few more things before we move on from the head. That hinge part at the bottom leaves for some nice movement with it, moving it up and down if you want to make it look like he's talking or whatever. The design of this right here is actually a sticker, one of the most annoying stickers in the set. I really wish they would have printed that because that's such a key part to the face. And then right here, these are actually 1x1 printed tiles, which look pretty fantastic. Also, this part at the front uses one of those translucent handle pieces, you know, the 1x1s with the stud and the handle, so you can move that up and down as well. Behind the head, you'll notice these 4 banners. There's 2 to the left and then 2 to the right. I believe these actually have elemental symbols on them because I kind of recognize them from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Attributes and also the Yu-Gi-Oh! Gate Guardian pieces. Might be wrong there, let me know in the comments. But the design of these are on a nice foil-like material. This is used with the bottom half of the Monkey King mech as well. And those are attached in kind of a flimsy way. I wish they were secured on there just a little bit better. Where they attach to the back using some miniature ball joints, that's all fine. But then they're just kind of clipped onto this piece. And that's where it gets kind of flimsy because if you move it just a little bit, it could easily fall off just like that. And for the area between those banners and under the head, there's a bit of design, like a little sticker to the left here, a bit hard to see. That doesn't use a gold shine to it, unfortunately. Same with this one to the right. But to the left of it, they do have a sloped, curved brick, whatever you want to call it, with that nice metallic gold shine. Also these gold bar pieces, which are always nice to get. This one is actually not facing the right way. Sorry, sometimes I get a little annoyed when these are not consistent. I guess I gotta re-put that one on. But this part right here, this Technic beam, looks a little awkward, but you can't really see it unless you look closely. Looking at it from the front, it's just kind of invisible. And right at the front, they do have these macaroni corner tile pieces in that nice metallic gold coloring, which just connects with those little sloped pieces. But this whole part is actually a separate feature. This is a little cockpit. Now there's some stickers to the left and right, a total of 4 on these curved pieces. And to open up the cockpit, all you have to do is push down here, and it is clipped on. The interior has 2 stickered double cheese slopes, which have control panels on both sides. And then at the front, there's another sticker that has a control panel design on it. Now this interior cannot fit the Monkey Kid and the Monkey King together. It really can't fit too many figures. I mean, it will probably be a tight fit if you could do it, but it definitely can't fit those 2 because of the Monkey King's tail and everything. But if you really want, you could fit the Monkey Kid at the front. Just have him sitting there and put the hatch back up. And you could even look through a little hole right there, which is just pretty awesome. And awesome enough, you don't have to remove the Monkey King's tail to fit him in there as well. He just won't connect to those 2 studs right there. But as long as he's sitting there, you could have him controlling the mech as well, which you can see him just kind of peeking out of that window too. As for the shoulders, they use the gold brick piece once again in that nice metallic gold. Then they have these stickers as well. And before we move on to the arms and show the posability, I have to address something. That something is the Monkey King staff. This is the full version of the staff for the mech, where they just use a huge Technic axle just going through all this. It's ended with these wheel pieces in that metallic gold, and then it uses these column pieces, as I like to call them, in red. Now this doesn't allow for posability if you're holding it in this particular way. I mean, I guess you can move the arms up and down, but you can't get too much movement until you remove it. So I want to show the movement and everything, and there's some alternatives that they propose. It's very easy to remove the staff, as it's just connected via a ball connection at the hands, and then those just connect with the Technic axle. But because it's so easy to disconnect these three sections, LEGO suggests you just take both ends and make a much smaller version that's fit for one hand. And there you go. You can have a lot more posability with moving the arms and everything now. With all of that squared away though, let's take a look at the arms, which at the shoulder right here, they have that gear that allows for some movement up and down. You would actually get to full 180 if you wanted to. I called it a clockwork-like function in the Demon Bull King review, which is actually the same technique they used here. Then there's a socket joint. You can move the arm up and down with that socket joint. There's also these, which are connected via, I guess, little robot arms, as I like to call them, but they are different from the droid ones. You know the specific piece that I mean. Nice to get those in pearl gold. Nice to get more of these pieces in pearl gold, even with a little corner pizza slice tile, as I like to call them. Then at the back, there's a little bit of detailing with a red lantern that is on a miniature ball joint. Then there's this second section of articulation, and this is like the midpoint, I guess, between the shoulder and the arm. And that has two of these ball joints, which allow for movement back and forth. More nice pearl gold there. Another nice pearl gold piece here. Nice usage of the heart tile piece and that bluish green. Underneath there, it's kind of hard to see. I even had to do a new clip just to get that angle, but there is a stickered piece. It's this piece. I forgot the specific name, but I think it takes up 4x4 in total, but I don't know, it was kind of hard to put that on. It's a very unconventional piece to put stickers on the side of, and you'd have to put two of them on, which was a pain in the butt. Either way, right at the hand, there's another point of articulation where you could rotate this part, which is just connected via a Technic pin. So you could have the Monkey King mech twirl the staff if you'd like. And these fingers right here are clipped on. This one is the thumb that's actually connected via a miniature ball joint. That allows for some free movement, and you can display it holding the staff as you'd like. Though it is a little bit weird that the mech has fingers when LEGO minifigures don't have fingers, but I guess I'm looking too hard into it. Again, the staff just connects via this connection with the Technic pins, and then that part connects with the miniature ball, or not miniature ball joint, that's just a regular ball joint. What am I saying? There's too many mini ball joints in this line. I'm getting them all mixed up in sizing. And again, unlike the Demon Bull King, both arms are the same build, just flipped. So this has just as much articulation and posability as the right arm of the, well, he isn't the forbidden one, of the Forsaken one? I don't know. For the bottom half of the mech, we'll start with the foil design here. I'm going to call this a plate skirt because I'm a RuneScape guy, but I'm sure there's a specific term for it. Whatever it is, it looks really cool using the same material of the banners at the back. This is one piece, this is one piece, and then this is a separate piece. How they put that in place uses some Technic axles, as well as a miniature ball joint to kind of stick it in so it won't be falling off when you're moving around the mech. Oh, I forgot to say, but the axle holding those foil parts in place is actually connected to a ball joint, so you can move that around just in case those were getting in the way. And this design is enough to cover up some of the key details that make up this bottom half. You can see there's actually 3 ball and socket joints inside this part that kind of move the legs. Get a better look down there. There's also a tail, which is kind of hidden by that middle section. The tail itself is pretty cool, how they use some miniature ball joints that you can not only move up and down, but also at each of these points of connection, even down to this very, very last one. And those are all topped off with these gold bar pieces in that metallic gold, which looks fantastic. Also behind the legs, there's some extra detailing with these red lanterns here. Those are just put in via some, what was it? Oh yeah, it was a miniature ball joint connection, so you could actually move those up and down. I was gonna say it was a Technic pin connection. There's also some stickers on the underside to complete that look, which I really appreciate LEGO doing because it makes it more complete from all angles. Again, this cloth right here, this cape, whatever you want to call it, covers up most of those parts. And that cape is held into place with that Technic axle there and those miniature ball joints at the top. Anyways, for the legs. So there's 3 socket joints connect to a flex joint at the top, and then you have this top section with a nice sticker on it. The side designs use some different colors like this top in brown to kind of complete it and give it that mechanical look. This middle section uses that new longer lightsaber handle piece in gray, which I could see a lot of Star Wars fans wanting to get from this set specifically because the other sets have it in a gold. Then there's this section right here, which has more of those gold sloped pieces. This section right here, which has a sticker. I want to acknowledge that there is a joint for the knees, but it's a fixed joint. You can't actually move it whatsoever, which does kind of suck. Now these parts right here, you can actually lift up if you'd like, but they still do not do anything to move the joint or anything like that. At the side, more of these metallic gold pieces. And all the way to the legs, which the legs have a sticker there, which you can see on that little sloped piece. More metallic gold pieces with these curved tiles and other pieces we've seen throughout the set. Another sticker right here. Even that sticker at the back, which we took a look briefly at. But there's a little foot joint, which you get some movement at the bottom here. Move it side to side. Move it up and down just a little bit. But really, the main articulation with the legs comes at the hips. So if you wanted some more like a knee joint or I guess more movement at the feet, you're not going to get it. But if it wasn't for those strong joints at the hips, this wouldn't be able to stand up. But either way, I think that's it. I think I'm done with the build for the monkey mech. You know what time it is. It's time to pose this son of a gun. Here he is T-posing. Here he is doing an undescriptive dance move, I think. And here is the Monkey King about to fight the Demon Bull King. But that is it for the mech build, but there is one more mech. As for that smaller mech, this is just adorable. I would compare it to the Marvel mechs of this year, but they're nowhere near as cute and concise as this little build is. The design for this is made using a lot of miniature ball joints. So we got some at the shoulders there, which kind of provide for these interesting shoulder designs where they use Metal Beard's beard piece. Just love the part usage of that throughout this theme. And those hold some extra ammunition to launch. The ammunition is apparently fire, but it doesn't really look like fire to me. But this is launched via a stud shooter that has the cup at the end, so you can position that as you'd like on the miniature ball joint, not only at the shoulder joint, but at that second joint right there. And once you press down, oh, I think that one got lost. And then to the right, there seems to be a shield that also has a spike at the end, a spiked shield or something. And the design of that can be moved around as well, not only from this miniature ball joint section, but at the end you could twist it as well. For some more mech detailing, we have this banner at the back, which does use a sticker piece. That whole configuration is just connected via a miniature ball joint on a Technic pin, so you could rotate it from the back. At the front, they have, for the cockpit, a very easy technique of just using the rocker bearing configuration. Never used that term before, but I researched it right before, that this piece with this piece is called the rocker bearing connection. I always used to call it a hinge design, but that's not the right term. So you can move that forward, and you can move these little spikes forward as you'd please. And the minifigure just connects with these two studs at the back. Very simple connection. And then we have the leg designs, which are attached via some hip miniature ball joints on both of them. The designs of them at the front use this 1x2 tile design that we've seen before. And then there's another set of miniature ball joints for the feet. I like how they use this piece at the front for some hooves. And regardless of how simple this mech is, you can still get some nice poses out of it. This is my favorite build of the set. I mean, I still love the Monkey King mech, but this is just one of my favorite builds of 2020. It's so unique in its architecture because it's a very Asian-style building architecture. This is reminiscent of some things I would see in Japan. But of course, the Monkey Kid line is set in China, so it's definitely reminiscent of things from China. I've just never been to China. This is a noodle shop, and then it seems to have the Monkey Kid's apartment on the second floor. I don't read or speak Chinese, but apparently this says Noodle Shop. I'm just basing this off of what my Google Translate app can translate, and that makes clear sense that it's a noodle shop. To the right, there's also a menu, and it seems like they're selling noodles, sausage on a stick, and buns. Those buns at the front are the same that the minifigure was holding. There's also a pot, also 2 of the sauces right here. I also like how they use these pieces for that awning over it, and those are kept in place using these modified 1x1s with the clips. To the left over here, there's a sticker that's used on a panel with some graffiti on it. And also there's what seems to be maybe a menu, and this is a clear 1x1 print. This does come in the poly bag as well, and I'm sure some of the other sets that I haven't built yet. And then to the left of that, there's a really nice build for an arcade machine. I'm a sucker for arcade machines. This uses a sticker on both sides that is the same sticker. That's this 2x4 on a tile. It's just kind of hard to see it from the other side. And there's a sticker at the front for the screen, which says it's pause, sticker for this control panel, and a sticker for the name, which is on a 1x2 plate, or sorry, tile. The design of this does have a weird joystick on the front of the build. I don't get why they have this when the panel right there has a joystick that does it fine. And all this does is block the screen, and then when you have it to the left or right, it just looks out of place. Very weird build. All they had to do was just take out this part right here and just put a regular plate. I don't get the point of that. And right above that, there's a nice little lantern here, which came in a lot of the Chinese New Year sets in that coloring. And also some more signs, which I was reading, and I think this one says that they sell buns or something like that. I'm sure some people might be able to translate it in the comments. Also like the lights to the side, and how they have this big pole right here. For such a modern concept, I rarely see utility poles in LEGO sets, and it's interesting how they use a ship mast piece to kind of set that in place. Now the section with the utility pole connects via a 1x2 Technic pins to the side of the building there. What's interesting though is that they have a second one of those at the back of the arcade machine. If you try connecting that on, it doesn't always tend to work because sometimes the lantern gets in the way, but it could push the lantern forward. Either way, this doesn't look right. It looks very awkward, which leads me to believe this isn't meant to be rearranged. The reason they have that extra 1x2 is because this is meant to be expanded upon, as in we're getting more LEGO Monkie Kid sets like this. I hope that's true. I hope we can expand it and make a whole Monkie Kid city, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, the interior of the noodle shop is pretty cramped. All we have is this stove top right here, which is actually kind of easy to access because it's on a 2x2 jumper. And that uses a sticker in the most inconvenient place. It's one of those that's inside the panel. I hate putting those on. I hate lining those up. And it just seems to have a little bit of stains there. There's a pan on there and what seems to be an oven, but not too much else to the build. Also, there's a fire extinguisher to the left, as well as a doorway if you want to get through that way. And I haven't seen the Monkie Kid show yet, but the design of this seems to be the Monkie Kid's apartment. There's a nice 2x3 poster of the Monkey King to the right there. There's also this little poster board of some photos of May, it seems like. Wonder what's going on there. Monkey Kid could just kind of rest inside his bed. The bed itself doesn't have too much to it. Seems like there's a little yellow pillow though. And then if you go to the top, this has the last section of the building. And that is the rooftop of the building. So there's some fish hanging out at the front. There's a nice sign, which is on a big bluish green tile. That is unprinted, and then they put the sticker on there. Give or take, the sticker is kind of hard to put on, but you do get an unprinted bluish green tile, so look at that as you may. This right here seems to be an empty box of an old pear shipment. Now that is a sticker right there, and there seems to be a repurposed use of it being used to grow some plants, which is pretty neat. Other than that, though, there's one last feature for this building, and it involves this little tube right here. So, if you push this tube to the left from the front, a wall just kind of blasts off of the side. That's not a new play feature by any means. It's used a lot in the LEGO Superheroes line, but it's something that's just integrated here fine. Doesn't look too obnoxious, though. That little Technic part that activates it all is a little bit annoying when you could see it from the window there. Either way, just wanted to say one more thing, which I almost forgot, which was this air conditioner unit. This air conditioner unit, very simple build, but a very awesome build. But that is it for this building, but there's still more builds to this set. There's this section of Flower Fruit Mountain, which is a very simple playset build, but they say this recreates an iconic scene from the show. And the design of this does have those pears, which is a fantastic new print. What they do is they print that on the existing LEGO heart tile piece from the LEGO Movie 2. And that does come in a few of the sets. You get one extra, and it's just something that I'm glad they included in this line. People call it the flower fruit as well, so maybe I'm wrong in discerning it as a pear, but they're pears to me. The final build of the set is a cloud for the Monkey King to ride in on. This does use a clear display stand type build to kind of make it look like it's floating. And hey, if I put the saturation up, look at that. It looks like it's floating. Okay, well, you can still kind of see this bottom part, but still. The design of this does have enough space to fit one minifigure standing up at the top. And I will say, towering it over Flower Fruit Mountain actually gives for a pretty darn cool scene to display on its own. But that's it for the build of the set. Let's take a look at the packaging and then the final verdict. The box for this set is humongous. I mean, I'm trying to think of another set of this size, but it's a tall, bigger box. I'm sure there is one, but none come to mind right away. And the back illustrates the play features and such of this set. As for the instructions, there's two separate booklets, one thicker than the other, and surprisingly enough, the one that's thicker than the other is not the one for the mech. So overall, anytime I feel like I'm getting sick of mechs, LEGO will put another one that just kind of blows my mind. And this is, I think, one of the best mechs they've done in, I don't know how long, maybe ever. The design of this is beautiful. It's very interesting. It's very different from any other mechs LEGO has done. But there's so many interesting, not only pieces, but building techniques on how they make this whole thing built. And the articulation here, it's a very playable thing, but it's also something you could actually display, which I love. There's a lot of nice pieces if you're a piece collector like me with all those gold elements that just are crazy. I'm glad they didn't cheap out and just put so much pearl gold. But beyond that, the mech is even my favorite build. The building over here is my favorite build, and that's just a mere side build. It's interesting seeing that culture captured in LEGO form when LEGO City gives us a lot of European and I guess North American type buildings. Here we have an Asian building, and that design just feels very fresh. I have very little complaints here. I think the minifigure selection could have been a little bit better, as in they could have added some more figures for what the price is, but it's not a big deal. There's like that little complaint with like the arcade cabinet having that weird attachment. So with all things considered, I give this one an A. It's one of the best Monkey Kid sets, one of the best mechs on the market, and while it is pricey, I think it's worth the price. And LEGO definitely makes it feel like a premium set with all that not pearl gold, all the use of not using pearl gold, because they cheap out and use pearl gold a lot. But here we have that metallic gold, and it feels so much more special because of that. And I think the value here is fantastic for $150, even beyond that. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.